Rev up your engines. All right, Lexus is known for quality, right? Here's a brand new Lexus. The owner is not happy with the quality, and you're gonna find out everything that he's been complaining about for a vehicle that he just bought for 85,000 bucks. It's only got a little over 5,000 miles on it now. What is up, Lexus? Now, granted, it's a beautiful car, but he's had so many problems with it, it'll make your head spin. Now, as far as I'm concerned, the very idea of how this car is built is incorrect, because 500H, okay? But it's a direct 4. Hey, original Lexus's V8 engines cost half of what this does, but this doesn't have a V8 engine. It's a 4-cylinder engine. So he paid 85, so he paid twice as much, but he got half the engine. As far as I'm concerned, it's a serious matter. They sell these as luxury cars, right? So why on earth are they putting a 4-cylinder turbo hybrid in this thing? Not only is it 4, but it's a turbo and a hybrid. Yet, on the highway, if he's lucky, 25 miles a gallon, which is 2 miles a gallon worse than my wife's Lexus that's 18 years old with a normal V6 engine. All this fancy technology, the old one gets better gas mileage on the highway. Yeah, in the city it gets better gas mileage because it's a hybrid, right? But it's a rather strange hybrid because it's got this turbo 4 gasoline direct and regular injection system for the engine, but it's got a normal automatic transmission with hybrid electric motors kind of added on. This is not like a Toyota Prius, which has the hybrid with the regular engine, electric motors, and an electric CVT transmission. This isn't made that way. It's a completely different animal. Now, I have to say, the Prius, after decades, it's pretty well proven. Good gas mileage. Now they have a lot more power because they've improved how they made the ECTs, but this doesn't even have an ECVT in it. It's got a regular transmission. This big, heavy vehicle, and it's got a little bitty 4-cylinder engine. It's turbocharged, yeah. Theoretically, it puts out horsepower, and it has electric motor boost too because it's hybrid. Now, as long as it works, it's not going to get stuck because it's got 2 motors in the back, electric motors, which of course electric motors can be controlled by computers, so you're not going to get any slippage, so it'll go right on snow and on wet. Now, of course, realize nothing goes well on ice. It doesn't matter what kind of control you have. If you're actually on a sheet, especially black ice, doesn't matter what kind of tires, what kind of drive system, it's going to slide on the ice. It's not a hockey player. It doesn't have blades on it. It's going to slip anyway. But that system in itself, a marvel of technology. The problem that this guy's having with his car, and he told me that so many people at these Lexus forums are having buyer's regrets, are all these stinking problems he's having already. Start with the screen. He was driving around and the thing would just shut itself off and reboot itself. I took it to the Lexus dealer, it's a brand new car, and they said they replaced the radio, but later it started turning on and off again. Obviously that didn't fix it. So now the dealer in Texas is saying, well, we're talking to Lexus to see what we can do. We don't know what to do. They're building cars that they don't know how to fix. And that's the problem with a bunch of this technology. The steering wheel, when he originally got it, it was crooked like this going straight. So I took it into the dealer and said, look, it's not aligned right. This is a brand new car. He takes it in and they say they aligned it. He gets it back and it's still crooked. So he takes it back again. And then they said, oh, the rear tire wasn't set right. It is all-wheel drive, so everything's got to be right. And then it went straight, but he got the car back, and yeah, they adjusted it all right. Look what they did. They bent the rim and they destroyed the tire, which they then had to replace. Now the gas door looks okay. Now there's a bigger gap here than here, but as you can see, originally it was worse. This is after the fix. So they claimed that they fixed it. That's the gap on the other side. You can see how much closer it was. You can see it from the picture. It was so far off, it's actually casting a shadow on the bottom. This is an $85,000 car. This is supposed to have fit and function now. Here's a picture of the screen turning off while he's driving. Now, it's also kind of mad that they use a hard plastic here, so rocks are denting it and it looks bad. You would want a softer plastic so that it would bounce off. Not a super hard one. This car's old as hell in the softer plastic. Hey, It isn't dented at all. Now we're going to take it for a road test. We're going to show you the squirrely camera setup it has. It's filming you the whole time and it starts making annoying comments if you get it blocked with your hand, which he finds extremely annoying. But before we do, listen to this. Okay, there's a car with 5,000 miles. Listen how noisy it is. Unfortunately, that's the nature of the beast in these. 18-year-old ES300 V6 is quieter than this, and it's 18 years old, right? These 4-cylinder turbos are noisy engines. Now, of course, you can see they put a bunch of insulation to try to stop the noise. You don't really hear it that much inside the car, but when you hear tickety tick tick, that means things are wearing. They're making a sound. If you have wheel bearings that are making a noise, they're worn. They're just noisier engines. Being a turbo 4, they just don't have the regular smooth torque that a V6 engine has. But before we drive it, they just told me he got it. When they took a hard turn left to right, they heard a clunk in the front. They took it in and they said, oh, we don't hear anything. So finally, he said no. And they let a master mechanic at the dealership drive with them. And the guy says, I hear it. And what was it? Behind here, the strut, well, we'll show the other side where you can see it better. The bracket on the other side wasn't tightened correctly. Okay, for 85,000 bucks, I'd expect all the brackets to be on nice and tight, right? And this is why. I don't care what anybody says, I'm sticking to my guns. You want a Japanese car? Get one that was made in Japan by Japanese dudes. My wife's Lexus was made in Japan, no loose brackets, no nothing, right? This one was made in the United States. Now these seats are ultra comfortable, and he admits it drives fine. It's real comfy. I mean, it's only got 5,000 miles on it. It's got a phenomenal backup camera system. You can't argue that. All different views you get. And it's certainly quiet because it's running on a hybrid now. And turning radius because it does have that rear steering. It has front and rear steering, but he doesn't like it warning him all the time. It's watching you. There it is. And then it says driver's face not detected. Here we go to our little drag strip. We'll come to a stop and let's see how it goes. It's got decent acceleration, but let me tell you, I don't care what anybody says, it's nothing compared to the old V8s. And it's not even close to the V6 of my wife's 18-year-old Lexus. I don't like a 4-cylinder turbo in a vehicle this size for $85,000. Now, why are they putting 4 cylinders in? Because it's cheaper to make them. Well, I don't call an $85,000 car cheap, right? So they're cheaper than not building them, but they're raising the price. To me, doesn't make any sense. These cars were luxurious, smooth. They're still luxurious when you're going at a steady speed. There's no arguing that. It's smooth. But it just doesn't have the power that they used to have. Sure, it has horsepower once it revs up and stuff, but hey, if you think about it, this is a pretty luxurious vehicle, right? And to have it make that much noise when it's accelerating, if you got in one of those V8s, man, those babies were quiet and powerful. Even the V6s, but it makes too much noise as far as I'm concerned. For that kind of money, it's got electric boost to give it boost, but truthfully, I didn't get thrown in the back of my seat like I would have in a Tesla or even the Volvo electric car I tried out. Now this is a fully electric car, it's a hybrid car, but still, I'd expect more for $85,000. Now the other problem, which I can't show because if I have music, somebody will say I stole their music, is the bass. He said, in this fancy Mark Levinson stereo, my wife's got one in hers and it still worked great. But in this fancy one, the bass doesn't work as good as in the lower model one. And a bunch of people on the Lexus forums are complaining, not enough bass. Hey, for that kind of money, I'd expect to hear everything. The thing that happened with this was they had an airbag recall. So they had to take the doors off for the side curtains. And, of course, you got to take all the plastic crap off. And look what happened when he picked it up. This is what it was like when he picked it up. The entire top fell down. They didn't even put it together right when they put it all back together after they replaced the airbags. Well, let's hope they put the airbags in right. He's only going to find out that if he gets in a crash, if they don't inflate. Now, if they don't inflate, his wife is going to get a whole bunch of money if he gets killed suing Lexus. But, hey, that kind of makes you wonder. The quality has gone away. Obviously, the quality of their workmanship has gone away, too. They broke his wheel. They ripped the tire and they had to replace the wheel and the tire. And he was just showing me they scratched the steering wheel too. Now, I do have to say, I have seen worse horror stories at dealerships, such as, if you remember, a couple years ago, guy brought me the Ford F-150 Lightning, the complete failure electric pickup truck when I was in Rhode Island, right? And I said, well, you have any problems with it running-wise? He said, other than having to get it charged, taking hours and hours, the only problem I had was, he said, I took it into Ford to get the tires rotated. They rotated them free as part of the deal, right? So they rotated the tires. He gets in it and he drove down the street. And when he got out of the parking lot of the Ford dealer, the left rear tire fell off because they didn't put it on very tight. I mean, I could see maybe if it fell off 200 miles away, it fell off right away. And they had to replace the tire and the wheel. It just shows you the quality at these places. Man, it's going down. Now, at a Ford dealer, hey, maybe you'd expect it, but a Lexus dealer, that they're dealing with super expensive cars? No, it's just, you know, you don't expect this. But, hey, let me tell you, he's not the only guy. Go to some of these Lexus forums online, you'll see there's a whole bunch of them. So what's my conclusion? If you want to get a Lexus, get one made in Japan. The quality just isn't there. But I would not buy this car with the Turbo 4 hybrid system that it has. I would not buy it because I know eventually the engines will wear out faster, but it's beyond that. The whole point of having a Lexus is the luxurious drive. And really, 18-year-old ES 300 is a smoother takeoff. This runs fine once you're going, you know, fine. Any car's that way. But you get all this noise and you don't have the smooth acceleration that you get with a V engine, even though it's only a V6 and these big ones used to have V8s were even smoother. Just a mistake to do this. And why are they doing it? To save money. Smaller engines are cheaper to make, right? And then they say gas mileage. I wouldn't be happy with 25 miles a gallon. My Lexus gets better than that. It's 18 years old. So, now you know, the state of Lexus is starting to slip here in the United States. This was an American-built Lexus, and obviously the state of the repairs done at the Lexus dealers has really slipped a whole bunch, having to take it back and back and back, and finally he gets it fixed. Other than the console there, the console still is turning itself off, and they don't know what to do. They're scratching their heads saying, well, we'll have to contact the engineers. Hey, the engineers build them, right? They don't fix them. Maybe that's part of the problem. If the engineers had to fix them, they would probably build them better. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.